You used to wake up to silence. Now you wake up to a screen. Notifications, headlines, voices, all screaming before your feet hit the floor. But you don't notice it anymore. Because this God, the new God, has already claimed you. This God doesn't offer salvation. It offers stimulation. It doesn't want worship. It wants submission. And you've given it, one swipe at a time. Nietzsche warned us, if we are not vigilant, we will create false gods. Gods that devour meaning and replace it with distraction. Gods that feed not on prayer, but on your attention. And that's what we've done. Attention is no longer just a tool. It is currency, identity, power. It has become the most valuable resource in the world. So naturally, it has been weaponized, not by corporations, by algorithms, by ideologies. They all want the same thing, your gaze. Because where your gaze goes, your soul follows. But here's the question Nietzsche would ask. Who owns your gaze? Who commands it, shapes it, exploits it? If you don't own your attention, you don't own yourself. You think you're in control? You choose what you watch, what you read, what you follow. But what if that's a lie? What if your choices were engineered? What if your desires were planted? That's the terrifying truth. Your attention is no longer yours. It's been hijacked. Slowly, surgically, seductively. The gods of attention don't need to chain you. They simply entertain you. Keep you scrolling. Keep you watching. Keep you numb. You are not addicted to content. You are addicted to avoiding yourself. Nietzsche said, he who cannot obey himself will be commanded. And today, most men are commanded, not by tyrants, but by apps. Every time you reach for the screen, you avoid a question. Who are you becoming? Every time you scroll, a part of you dies, the part that reflects, that dreams, that rebels. Tragedy is not that we are distracted. It's that we no longer notice we are distracted. And that is the death of the soul, not in fire, but in noise. What if I told you you've never been alone? Not truly. Because every silent moment, you reach for something. Music, a podcast, a feed, a friend. You call it connection. But Nietzsche would call it escape. Escape from thought, from introspection, from the terrifying confrontation with your own mind. We live in a world where noise is therapy. But this therapy doesn't heal. It sedates. It keeps you moving just fast enough to avoid the truth. You are lost, numb, detached from the depths of your being. Noise has become the new numbness. And in this numbness, you drift, not toward purpose, but toward oblivion. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat in silence? Not out of boredom, but out of courage? Nietzsche wrote, the greatest events, they are not our loudest, but our stillest hours. But how can we hear the stillness when we worship sound? To reclaim yourself, you must first reclaim silence. You don't want to think? You want to be seen thinking. You don't want to live. You want to be seen living. This is the curse of the attention age, the hunger for visibility. But Nietzsche warned us, visibility is not virtue. Attention is not value. And applause is not truth. We now curate our lives for strangers while neglecting our inner world. Every post, every selfie, every story is a performance, a mask, a distraction from who we really are, or worse, from the fact that we don't know who that is. The spotlight has become our sun. But it doesn't nourish, it burns. You weren't born to be watched. You were born to become. And becoming is private. Becoming is invisible. Becoming happens in the dark where no one claps. But we've forgotten how to exist without eyes on us. Nietzsche would call this spiritual poverty, the starvation of the self in exchange for external validation. If you truly want to be free, you must become willing to disappear. You think you're browsing, but you're being browsed. Every click, every pause, every hesitation, it's all tracked, measured, fed into a system that doesn't just understand what you want, it shapes what you want. Nietzsche believed the self was something to be created. But how can you create yourself if a machine is doing it for you? You are not just consuming content. You are being programmed. Slowly, invisibly. You like what you're shown because you're shown what you're likely to like. But liking is not choosing. It's obeying. And here's the most terrifying part. The algorithm doesn't need to make you angry or afraid. It just needs you engaged. Attention is the goal. Truth is irrelevant. You are being optimized, not for wisdom, but for consumption. Not for strength, but for predictability. And if you don't reclaim your attention, you will never reclaim your will. In the temples of old, people knelt before gods. Today, they kneel before glowing rectangles. The new altar is noise, and the new sacrifice is silence. Silence is not emptiness. It is space. It is awareness. It is the only place where original thought is born. But today, we treat silence like an enemy. The moment it appears, we reach for something, anything, to fill it. Nietzsche warned of this, the danger of becoming hollow, of letting the world scream so loudly that the inner voice dies, the voice that questions, that dreams, that dares. We are no longer thinkers. We are reactors. Our thoughts are not ours. They are borrowed, liked, shared, repeated. In the absence of silence, there is no self, only echo. Attention is the new god. But like the jealous gods of myth, it demands everything. Your time, your stillness, your soul, and most give it willingly. But not you. You must reclaim silence. Carve it back into your day like a sacred ritual. Guard it, enter it, listen, because in the silence, you will remember who you are and what you're not. You were born with an inner world, vast, wild, untamed. But slowly it was colonized by school, by media, by social approval. Now your imagination belongs to them. Your curiosity is outsourced. Your attention leased. Nietzsche saw the soul as a battlefield. And in our age, the war is being lost, not through violence, but through distraction, through likes, notifications, entertainment engineered to keep you empty but obedient. They don't need to chain your body. They just need to control your focus. To overcome this, you must rebel, not with noise, but with depth. Start reading things that confuse you. Sit with questions that disturb you. Walk without your phone. Breathe without broadcasting. Rewild your mind. Reclaim your boredom. That boredom is a gate, and on the other side is the real you, waiting. Your inner world has been hijacked. Take it back, not for comfort, not for pleasure, but for power. Because in a world that devours attention, a focused mind is the ultimate act of resistance. You pride yourself on being efficient, always on, always responsive. You call it productivity, but Nietzsche would call it fragmentation. You're not multitasking, you're scattering. Every notification splits your mind. Every app divides your soul. Every tab left open is a fracture in your focus. And in the end, nothing gets your full presence. Not your work, not your relationships, not even yourself. We weren't built for this. The human psyche is deep, not wide. It craves depth, not constant switching. But the gods of attention don't want you deep. They want you distracted, because a distracted mind is easy to manipulate, easy to sell to, easy to control. You think multitasking makes you powerful, but it's killing your ability to enter flow, the sacred state where genius lives. Nietzsche believed greatness required solitude, struggle, and attention. But we're trading those for speed, stimulation, and surface. The result? A generation of shallow minds, hungry for dopamine, starving for meaning. Focus is now rebellion. Depth is now dangerous. And thinking deeply, truly deeply, is now a forgotten art. It's time to remember. You say you're exhausted, burnt out, done. But here's the truth. You're not tired from doing too much. You're tired from never doing one thing fully. Your mind is constantly stimulated, but never satisfied. Constantly fed, but never nourished. Is the paradox of the attention age. We are always connected, yet feel more alone than ever. Always consuming, yet feel perpetually empty. Nietzsche called this spiritual sickness, when the soul craves meaning, but is fed distraction. When our inner hunger is real, but the world keeps serving us noise. You don't need rest. You need withdrawal. Withdraw from the lies, from the loops, from the endless stream of content that promises clarity but delivers confusion. You are not a machine. You are not built for constant input. You are built for stillness, creation, contemplation. If your soul feels heavy, it's not because you failed. It's because you've been too available to everything and too loyal to nothing. Reclaim your depth. Starve your distractions. Because peace is not found in the next scroll. It's found in stillness. Attention has become a commodity. Bought, sold, traded. You are no longer the customer. You are the product. Your focus is auctioned off every second to advertisers, influencers, ideologies. Nietzsche wrote, "Be careful when you cast out your demons, lest you cast out the best thing in you." But today, we've cast out reflection, boredom, silence, all for the sake of efficiency and speed. And what did we gain? A digital marketplace where truth is irrelevant and only what grabs your attention survives. Outrage wins. Simplicity wins. Extremes win. Nuance dies. And with it, your capacity for critical thought. You think you're navigating the internet, but it's navigating you, steering you, narrowing you. You are being shaped, not into a thinker, but into a consumer, a reactor, a node in a network designed not for your growth, but for your attention. If you don't become the architect of your own mind, someone else will be, and they already have the blueprint. In the past, identity was forged through experience. Now, it's forged through exposure. What you pay attention to becomes who you are. Your beliefs, your fears, your desires, all sculpted by the media you absorb. Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." But how can you, if your self is constantly overwritten by algorithms? Every scroll is a surrender. Every like is a layer. Slowly, you're not becoming yourself. You're becoming what's most clickable. That's the terrifying truth. The more time you spend online, the less you remember how to be offline, how to sit, how to feel, how to think without input, are not just what you consume. You are what you return to when no one is watching. Ask yourself, if you stripped away the noise, the screen, the validation, who would remain? If you don't choose who you are becoming, the machine will choose for you, and its only goal is to keep you watching. Focus is not just productivity. It is spirituality. To focus is to choose, to say, this, not that, this moment, not the next, this idea, not the noise. In a world devouring your attention, to focus is an act of defiance, of rebellion, of resurrection. Nietzsche spoke of the Bermensch, the one who creates values, not absorbs them, the one who wills their future, not scrolls through someone else's. That begins with attention, with discipline, with choosing to turn your gaze inward, to face what is painful, complex, real. Every time you resist the pull of distraction, you grow. Focus is how you build character, depth, vision. It's how you become dangerous, not to others, But to the systems that want to keep you weak, this world does not want you focused. It wants you divided. Because divided minds never rebel. But you are not born to be divided. You are born to aim. If attention is the new God, then the old truths must become weapons. You must learn to say no, violently, consistently. Unapologetic ally. No to noise. No to false urgency. No to the theft of your sacred presence. Nietzsche would not kneel before this God. He would slay it. He would declare war on anything that reduces man to a machine, a puppet, a passive consumer. This is your challenge. Not to escape attention culture, but to dominate it. To rise above it. To use it without being used. Kill the God. Reclaim your soul. Reclaim your mind. That doesn't mean disappearing. It means reappearing. Intentionally, fully, fiercely. You don't need more content. You need more consciousness. The power is not in escape. It's in mastery. And mastery begins when you take your eyes back from them to you. Here's the final truth. The war for your attention is the war for your life. Because attention is not just what you look at. It's what you live. If you give your attention to chaos, you will become chaotic. If you give it to lies, you will live in delusion. But if you give it to what matters, to truth, to depth, to becoming, you will become free. Nietzsche didn't just want you to think. He wanted you to become dangerous, not to others, but to your own stagnation. You cannot become that person if your gaze is scattered, if your soul is divided. Attention is the path. Attention is the mirror. Attention is the gate. Protect it. Guard it. Choose it. Because whatever has your attention has you. Now ask yourself one final time, who or what owns you?